Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Anna Tan from Ateneo de Manila University in the Philippines, and we're now up to the most exciting part of the conference, which is the closing. So that's the most exciting part, is the closing. Before we begin with the closing messages from our colleagues, I would like to call on Mr. Norby Salonga of the Lasallian Social Enterprise for Economic Development to discuss and read the conference declaration.
Thank you very much, Anna. So on behalf of the drafting committee composed of Jonathan Ronquillo, Syamsul, Ardiansyah, and Punyorin, let me just read the conference declaration of the Fourth Social Enterprise Advocacy and Leveraging Asia Conference. We are more than 150 social entrepreneurs, leaders, and representatives of social enterprise resource institutions, civil society groups, business sector, government, and multilateral agencies who have agreed together at the Fourth Social Enterprise Advocacy and Leveraging Asia Conference in Bangkok, Thailand from March 22 to 23, 2023. We have, for the past 2 days, endeavored to harness lessons and learnings from perspectives, experiences, and initiatives on fairer and equitable ways to move forward after the pandemic, focusing on the theme social entrepreneurship, innovation, and partnership towards inclusive recovery and accelerating the sustainable development goals. We are saddened to note that 97 million people globally were driven to extreme poverty by the COVID-19 pandemic, worsening the multidimensional poverty, reaching 1.3 billion across 107 developing countries, representing about 22% of the world's population. We are, however, more inspired by stories of how social enterprises responded in ways that promoted the values of social equity, solidarity, and sustainability, therefore leaving no one behind. Indeed, these concrete steps toward ensuring the recovery of the social enterprise sector and the poor that they serve and fulfilling their role as accelerators of sustainable development goals. We commend the co-conveners of the social entrepreneurship platforms for sustaining our important work for inclusive recovery and building back fairer towards the SDG, for nurturing transformational partnerships in women's economic empowerment in agriculture value chains anchored on the growing adoption and mainstreaming of the benchmarks and guidelines for transformational partnerships. We thank the Women's Empowerment, Livelihood, and Food in Agricultural Value Chains, or the We Live Food platform, for encouraging the youth to go back and help their roots by featuring young social entrepreneurs and enabling programs for youth, rendering rural revitalization and sustainable development a viable. We are grateful to the Rural Revitalization Youth and Social Entrepreneurship Platform for the constant reminder that unpaid work is work and care work must be shared work within a continuing learning and sharing platform for fair trade and gender just skills education. We are thankful to the Decent Work for All in Sustainable Value Chains platform, and for building a regional platform for community-centered pro-poor universal healthcare. We thank the Health for All platform. We laud the launching of the Technological Innovations for Sustainable Development platform, co-convened by the Association for Progressive Communications, Angel of Impact, and the Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, and commit to contribute to achieving its objective of connecting the unconnected and marginalized by building community networks and complementary community connectivity initiatives to bridge the digital divide. We renew our commitment to collectively sustain these collaborative platforms for learning and exchange of experiences and best practices amongst SE stakeholders, developing and projecting collective impact in the recovery of SE and the poverty sectors they serve, and advocating for changes in government, policies, and programs for inclusive recovery, building back fairer, and accelerating the SDGs. We commit to harnessing a multi-stakeholder collaboration in order to assist the recovery and repositioning of the social enterprise sector as a major player of inclusive recovery towards building back fairer and accelerating the achievement of the SDGs through the initiative called Catalyzing the Recovery of Social and Community Enterprises for Transformation present in Asia Pacific. We further commit to share the evolving Crescent Initiative co-developed by SE stakeholders in Asia Pacific and explore the opportunities and potentials for partnership with key stakeholders in the region towards the establishment of a virtual hub for exchange and the Social Enterprise Recovery and Innovation Program and Fund. We also commit to engage the 10th Asia Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development 2023 by sharing our initiatives that can concretize their theme, accelerating the recovery from COVID-19 and the full implementation of the 2030 Agenda for the Sustainable Development at all levels. We shall strive to highlight the important contribution of the social enterprise sector in 3 SDGs identified by the APF SD 2023 as focused on their review, namely SDG 9, Industry, Innovation, Infrastructure, SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, and SDG 17, Partnership for the Goals. We welcome the UNESCAP's continued commitment to assist and build the capacity or the capability of governments in the region to create enabling policies and programs for the social enterprise sector to recover, prosper, and effectively fulfill its role as transformational partner of the poor and marginalized. We stand together, always striving to initiate, innovate, collaborate, educate, and collectively address the multiple crises on poverty, inequality, and environmental insecurity. This is our firm resolve, all of us, all of us, all of us. March 23, 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Norby. I know that was a lot to take in. This conference declaration will be sent to all of you, to those who attended the conference, both on-site and online. We have 1 week to make comments on the conference declaration. If you have any comments, things to add, things that you're against, anything that you'd like to say about the conference declaration. So it will be sent to all of you, to all of us via email, and you have 1 week to send in your feedback. But Lisa wants to say her comment now.
Because I think I just like to express that thank you to the drafting committee. I think you did a very good job putting things together. But I just have a little comment about commending the co-conveners. I think we should commend the stakeholders of the platforms, not just the co-conveners. And I think there was a big oversight about not expressing our appreciation and solidarity with the social enterprise colleagues in Thailand. I think there needs to be a paragraph where we actually express our appreciation and solidarity with them as they engage in working with government to create an enabling environment for social enterprises with their new social enterprise law and their continuing efforts to sustain innovations towards inclusive recovery and sustainable development. Because I think we learned a lot from the session this morning, and we will be learning a lot in the what do you call this, the field visit tomorrow. So I hope that can be included.
Thank you, Lisa. That was duly noted. And I think the Secretariat will take a note of that. Also bear in mind that this was written last night. So I'm sure there are a lot of things that we need to include. We've also had a very lively discourse over the last 2 days. So it would be wonderful to include all of your comments and feedback in the conference declaration, as we would all be signing this if you agree with it. Okay, so to end this wonderful get-together of our countries in this beautiful country of Thailand, we will have closing messages from our colleagues here, starting with Mr. Shubert Ciencia. He's a member of the Asia Regional Platform of Oxfam International. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Anna. May I start first by convey in behalf of Oxfam, conveying our appreciation and congratulations to the organizers of this wonderful event. Isaiah, who is our very able and dynamic partner in one of our regional programs, UNESCO and the Catalyst 2030. And I hope Dr. Dakanay won't mind if I will share with you that she used to be my boss. And we many years ago when we were much younger, and we were during that time, it was she who like prodded us to set up like sustainability mechanisms for the various economic projects that we had set up. We were able to do that in one of the top rice producing province in the Philippines, and I'm very happy. It's one of my, when I feel sad, I just recall that moment and remember that it is still thriving and surviving, and it makes me happy. And I also realize the challenges that social enterprises face. We are so small at this point that we are not really able to transform the business operations, the dominant business operations. I think moments like this, when we are brought together, not just to share our experiences, but also to harness our potential, to come together and compete with the big guys, is an inspiring moment for me. And only by coming together, I believe we will be able to substantially transform the existing business operations, business models in Asia. My second point is in the ASEAN, 80 to 90% of the employment and jobs are generated by MSMEs. And MSMEs has a huge potential of being transformed into social enterprises. And I think the presentation from former Senator Mechay Birabayja is a testament to that, the way they did it in Thailand. And it was one of the social enterprises that I visited in my first ever trip, actually, outside the Philippines. I have my first meal at Cabbages and Condoms. And but we will need support. We will need solidarity, and we will need an enabling environment to be able to do that. With that, we offer our continued support to Isaiah, who has been leading our engagement with ASEAN, and we pray that in the near future, the proposed guidelines for transformational partnerships and women's economic empowerment in agricultural value chains in the ASEAN will be considered and implemented in the region. My last point actually is we also believe that social enterprises, among all the business models, have the most potential to reach the poorest of the poor, those who are at the bottom of the pyramid. And yesterday, I am with a colleague from HomeNet. We were discussing the informal economy setup and how can we bring in the informal workers who remain invisible, undocumented, unregistered, and unsupported in a thriving informal economy in the ASEAN. And perhaps that can be one of our priorities also as social enterprises, especially to women who in the agricultural sector of ASEAN comprises like 60 to 70% of the informal labor force and who have been mostly impacted by the global pandemic. And with that, may I offer our continuing solidarity and support to all of you amazing people who are here today, very brave souls, so that we can change, we can aim together to change the world into a better place with the equal sharing of the wealth or the resources that we all have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for your testimony on how you and Lisa have been working together in this sector for quite some time. And I agree with you on working together, and that's why opportunities like this where we can get together, whether online and on-site, is very precious so that we can discuss each other's initiatives and work together on how we can move things forward. Next up is Mr. Rajapandian Raju. He's a program lead of Dhan Foundation and CEO of SUHAM Trust. Sir?
Thank you, Anna. I think it's a kind of a learning experience for the past 2 days. So it's a kind of the platform, it's mainly disseminating the knowledge sharing. So quite experiences of the various organizations being shared. It's a quite a take home. I think I could say that it's a kind of a good take home I have taken from the 2 days experience. And moreover, we are finding a lot of challenges in front of us because many of them are sharing about their challenges in front of them, how to run, how to sustain, how to expand, how to scale up and everything. In our perspective of Dhan, always we believe community has solutions. The community solutions can be scaled up, it could be sustainable. So in the past 30 years of experience of our Dhan, we could able to see that we find a solution from the community themselves. So we strongly believe that the poor are bankable. We cannot say that actually the poor are not eligible to bankable, but they are bankable. So they could able to the finance themselves. That's called, we say it's called the term called the community financing. The community financing is a very strong solution we have with us. So we operate around nearly 2,000 crore of the money is a roll around Indian rupee I'm talking about. The roll around the community themselves. They are investor, they are owner, they are mobilizer. They have all the capacities. They put the money. We promote the platform, community platform. They put the investment. They run the show. They sustain the show. They scale up the show. So that is what our experience from this last 3 decades of our Dhan experience. That is the kind of the solution I can share here. You just invest on your community. The community will come with a solution. The investment is very, very important. That is what we need to take it up from our experience. So after understanding this, because frankly speaking, after coming here only, I could able to understand thoroughly about this, the platform as well as the network. Otherwise, actually, because we were very much discussed on this only one platform, Health for All. But the platform, other platforms, actually, because I don't have much experience, because after coming here, I could able to understand that what's happening around this world. So not only in India, around this world, what's happening in that. And how the successful models has been demonstrated. So that is what I could take it up like a kind of a take home for me. So I could say that the closing messages, so the closing messages, because I differed from that word, the closing message. It's not a closing messages. It's a way forward message, the message for way forward. So what we are going to do, what is our next plan? So what is the next level agenda? That could be the major areas. So there are 4 or 5 points in my mind. One is each institution, social enterprise, as well as our network platform, we should have a kind of the strategic development platform. That means we need to develop a strategic plan development at least for next 5 years. So if you could develop a plan for next 5 years, you can draw the roadmap of your institutions as well as for our network. That could be much more useful. And also the long-term planning will be much more helpful for building your actions in your community. So that actually what we need to do is, so we need to have some kind of the strategic plan development workshops in the institution level as well as the network level by involving the various partners, because always the community is the first partner, is the first stakeholder. They are not a beneficiary, they are a first partner. So those people should be involved in that, as well as the partnership organizations also should be involved. The second, the way forward, the freezing a context-based model. Now we have a kind of a different various kind of models with us now. A different kind of experience. I could able to see that a lot of experience has come from the different kind of people. So we need to develop and we need to freeze the model, context-based model. In which context, which model will work very well. So that is a kind of the model mainly for scaling up. Scaling is very important because growth brings quality. This is another the principle we are strongly following. Growth brings quality. So the second area is on scaling up. And how to disseminate this model, because the role of the network is major responsibility is disseminate the good kind of models across the world. That is a major responsibility of this particular network. The third area is on this platform is a kind of the knowledge sharing a platform. Is everybody is strongly accepting it's a knowledge sharing platform. How do we share the knowledge we received from this nearly 15 to 20 organizations here? So how do we share it across the world? Kind of a documentation is very, very critical. So that is what we need to concentrate on the third aspect, mainly for the cross-learning as well as the co-learning purpose. That is the third area. The fourth area is on it's a kind of a knowledge exchange center, that the platform could become like a knowledge exchange center. How do we making a cross visits? Because the people from Thailand can come to maybe tomorrow will be one kind of the knowledge, the sharing or knowledge exchange program we are going to do. So same kind of the program, how do we sharing the knowledge mutually? So that is a kind of the visits also can be organized. Because in our Dhan, actually always we say it's called immersion. It's called immersion programs. Immersion to the people in outside organizations. We need to provide them. The fifth area is a very, very critical area. I just during a lunchtime also I discussed with Lisa. I think a joint fundraising. What is the scope of joint fundraising by the platform as well as the particular organization? How it will be possible? So how do we raise the funds for piloting, new piloting, as well as scaling up of the pilots what we have done it here? Especially two aspects are very important in fundraising. Three aspects I could say. One is the government. How do we leverage? The leveraging is the potential of each institution. So how do we leverage and what amount to be leveraged? This is a kind of a potential we need to from government side. The second area is that potential area is CSR, the corporate social responsibility. I think India it's very, very strong. Now 2% of the profit is allocated for a development purpose. I think maybe other countries also, they may have some kind of this scope is there. The third area is on donors. The donors are very, very high potential areas, especially the multilateral organizations also is one of the major focus that we can think of. And other areas like building a partnership with various partners, like some agency have some strong system. That kind of the partnership building also is very critical. And government and multilateral agencies for fundraising, not only for Southeast Asia, also for South Asia. That was my request to Lisa in the morning. So how do we raise the funds jointly? This is a very, very critical area, so that it would be helpful for supporting the partner organizations and also developing a kind of a sustainable models, because we are thinking it's a very important thing is sustainable models. So sustainable and replicable models is very, very critical. These are all the 5-6 areas I would like to give a way forward. But and one more area also I would like to share, because I think I can make use of this platform. This is not related to this, especially this SE, social enterprises, but it is related to this health for all. Because what we discussed in the morning, so this is the kind of the opportunity. How do we involve our own existing partners for strengthening the platform on health for all? So one is on the purpose is majorly we promoted for this health for all platform is, one is the purpose of networking organizations towards partnership building, evolving models, knowledge sharing, supporting pilots, and the joint resource mobilization. These are the major purpose of developing this health for all platform. Also, we can consider that disseminate the work of existing community-based health interventions in Asia, especially in the perspective of sectoral contribution for policy enabling. Because the role of majorly the role of development organization is the policy enabling is very, very critical in terms of social enterprises, in terms of health, in terms of education, or whatever it is. So that is a major focus this platform has been developed. So majorly the 4 areas that we are talking about, the major 4 focus areas, action areas. One is recruit and expand the membership in the platform. That's one major area. For that, we need a support. I think the 2 organizations are responsible for this platform. One is Dombatwawa as well as Dhan, especially the SUHAM we say. It's a healthcare initiative called SUHAM in Dhan Foundation. The 2 organizations are like a co-conveners along with the convener of this ICR. So integration of health existing partners. So how do we integrate in the area of social enterprises? Because we cannot leave health as a separate portfolio. How do we integrate on that? Organizing a learning events and learning visits for cross and the mutual learning. This is another area for the purpose of health mutual platforms. And fourth area is on the program development and pilot implementation in various contexts. These are the other areas we are thinking of promoting this Health for All platform. We need your sincere support, especially the health partners enrollment in the platform, because you may be knowing about the good organization working around you in your particular context. You can bring this organization into this platform for strengthening our Health for All platform. That's one area. The second area is on the integration of health in your organizational portfolio. This is the second area. I need your attention in this particular aspect. And third is like a participation of the roundtable meeting we are going to organize in the month of June. We are going to organize a roundtable meeting in the month of June, second week. So where we are expecting all your presence, as well as you can bring your the potential organizations working on a health around you. So these are the three areas. And maybe you can give us suggestions to our health platform, mainly on pilot project suggestions. You can give us some kind of the suggestions on how do we develop the pilots in the particular context and what kind of the pilots to be developed. These are the kind of the suggestions also I'm requesting from you. I think you can share your thoughts, to Mr. Gomer, or to me, or Syamsul, or Lisa. I think we'll strengthen our entire the platform of social enterprises as well as this Health for All platform by working together. That is very, very critical, by working together. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Raj. And thank you for the 5 points you raised on moving forward, which is having a strategic plan, developing a context model, sharing knowledge effectively, having knowledge exchange centers, and fundraising. The action points you mentioned about healthcare for all will be discussed in the next few months, weeks to come. And of course, you will get the support of everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so then the next person we're going to hear from is Dr. Sarbani Belur, from a regional coordinator of Asia Pacific for APC. Dr. Belur?
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. So I'm Dr. Shadbani Belur, and I'm the Asia Regional Coordinator for the LockNet project of Association for Progressive Communications, where we seed community networks to grow in the global south. So first I would like to thank ICEA for inviting me here to be a part of this wonderful forum of people and organizations, mostly practitioners on ground, which I love working with. I don't like sitting behind the computer and simulating things. I love working with the field, in the field with the people. So that's something. The past, yesterday and today has been a great learning experience for me, because since the time that we have started seeding community networks to grow all over the world, I mean in the global south, one of our most challenging experience has been how to look into the sustainability of these networks. And we have always tried to understand it from a grounded approach, trying to work together with local governments. But at the back of our mind, we were always thinking about this social enterprise, but we never could move into it. And thanks to ICEA for holding our hands and taking us into it. So I really would like to thank ICEA, Lisa, Gomer, Professor Theo, and others. So the one thing that I would like to share as a learning from yesterday and today is that rural development needs to be all-encompassing. And it cannot be all-encompassing until and unless we talk about connectivity in the rural areas. The reason why this is very important is that, and we look into different organizations, and I have actually discussed with various organizations that who are located in very remote rural villages, they actually cannot connect to the market. So it is like, you know, there is a wide gap between the organizations that work on the field and their linkages to the market. So for example, if there is, they are working on some products, those products perhaps come to the market 2 days later, by which it's spoiled. Sometimes it doesn't keep up to the quality. So we really need to integrate internet connectivity for rural development. And there are opportunities for having this integrated into the various village development plan, for example, in India that we have. There is an opportunity to do that, but it is not being incorporated. And I think that the organizations, I have discussed with various organizations that if a platform could be built for connecting all the organizations together in one platform, then it becomes easier for those organizations to sell if there is some products that are being made by the communities that can be sold online and we have tried to do it actually in one of the places in Maharashtra in India. Then as part of the innovations for technology development and sustainable development, we are also looking at frugal technologies. So we want to develop frugal technologies that are not very expensive. If it is very expensive, then we really can't take it forward. So we are looking at frugal technology development, like, very simple, like, knowledge aggregation, for example. And here I would like to talk about the new community networks that we are setting up, seeding this year to grow as part of the ISF Asia grant, where ICIA is leading it. And I would like to call upon Shava, and they are going to work on just local knowledge aggregation for the farmers. And it's going to be an offline network. It is not going to be an online network. So we are trying to develop these frugal technologies as part of this technology innovation thing. And talk about connectivity. Connectivity need not always be an online connectivity. It can be an offline mesh network also. So the definition of connectivity can also change, because if we can bring about quite a lot of work in the offline domain, then communities that are rural, located in very remote locations in various parts of the world, sometimes they don't even have the literacy background or the literacy levels to engage with connectivity. They don't even know how to operate a smartphone. They have problems with privacy and security, and someone was discussing about it yesterday. So if we have such type of definition of connectivity which is not specifically online, then I think we can try to achieve much more. So I have discussed about how relevance of social enterprises are a very important aspect of community networks, because it helps our community networks to be sustainable. And these could be various things. We are like Common Room is trying to do it at their own level in Indonesia. Athirty Community Network is trying to do it in Maharashtra. There was a community network in Myanmar called Asorcom. They tried to do a social enterprise, set up a social enterprise over there that is winemaking. And every one of us are trying to do this. And thanks to the session that we had with ICIA about social enterprises, and I think that was a very good learning thing. And many of them now, like Zenzilini Community Network is trying to do it. In Africa, there are community networks like Bosco, Tunapanda. Every one of us are discussing about how to develop these social enterprises within their communities. And the very relevance of developing these social enterprises is that it uplifts rural livelihoods, because that is one of the reasons why communities, one of the first instances of communities telling us is that they need connectivity in any form to uplift their livelihood. It cannot remain the same. And the other thing is that it enables multi-stakeholder partnership. And I think this is a very good way forward on enabling multi-stakeholder partnership at various levels. It is just not between the private organizations or the government organizations, but various other organizations that can become a part of this partnership model. And specifically on women by bridging the gender digital divide. And I have seen this, I'll show you an example. So as when APC funded us for the first round of funding, we seeded a community network to grow in rural Maharashtra, and we seeded eDost. So eDost is a digital partner of and she is a woman. She enabled banking services for the people in the community by just enabling it on a biometric device with the Wi-Fi on enabled through a SIM card based cellular router, and people in the village coming to withdraw cash, deposit cash to her. That is all that initiative was about. So when APC, through the seed funding of APC, we seeded 5 eDost to grow, and now it is 15, and now it is 72 actually in the entire India that the eDosts are working now. So this is a type of empowerment, women's empowerment with very frugal technology. They are economically being empowered. The other thing that I would like to show, and it's very much related to the social enterprises, is that the local knowledge that is there within these indigenous community, they have quite a lot of local knowledge. And this local knowledge doesn't have any repository of its own. Sometimes it is local knowledge related to craft, art, painting, whatever. But sometimes it is language. Sometimes it is to do with any type of local knowledge that it just passes on across generations, from grandfathers to sons, and it just goes on and on. So they think about it so we developed this knowledge sharing platform, again as part of APC's seed funding, that we developed this where all the local knowledge related to that indigenous community is set up in one platform, which is an open source platform. Anyone can replicate it at any location. And the products that are there as part of this local knowledge platform, some of the products are put up on the e-commerce platform, that is this wapcall.com, where extra produce like paddy, cereals, millets, whatsoever it's set up on it's put up on the Wapcall platform. So this is something I wanted to show you as an example that we at our level are trying. And thanks again to ICIA for bringing us, on board and trying to give us, show us the way forward. And it is not such a very big platform, but it's a platform where we get all the women entrepreneurs on board and we try to work with them. So this is some of the thing, and this is the digital village catalyst. She is the eDost, and you can see that she enables e-governance services, she enables literacy, education services to the people, financial services, life skills, and she also helps in all the other activities that we have in the village, like mapping activities, survey collection of information, and things of that sort. So, and the last thing is a painting from the indigenous community there, which is called the Varli tribes. And this is the tree of life for them. And we are actually working together with them for the community network over there. So thanks once again to ICIA. And it has been a wonderful experience the past 2 days, learning about the various social enterprises and the challenges that they face on the field. And it is almost the same like what we face on the field, but our level is a smaller level of interaction with a small number of, not large group of women or people. But I think it was a very good learning experience to interact with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sarbani. I really liked what you said about rural development needs to be all-encompassing, and that connectivity is key in doing that. And social enterprises have a great role to play in terms of bringing connectivity everywhere. Connectivity being such a great social equalizer, I think. So thank you for sharing. Next up is our host country. Thank you very much for having us here. We've met her earlier and the day before, but she's here again to speak to us. So everybody, please welcome Ms. Tarlapraporn Punyorin, General Manager of SE Thailand.
Thank you so much, everyone. Actually, I'm the representative of SE Thailand. Actually, Mr. Kisada should be here instead of me, but he's on the urgent business trip. That's why I'm also in this stage as well.
We love to have you here. So
Right.
seeing you again.
All right. And you will all see me again tomorrow for the coming SE trip. Okay. For the closing remark, as SE Thailand, we are very, very honored to be part of the SEAL conference, and we would like to thank a lot to the ICEA for hosting this event and several organizations to make this event happen. We really believe in the tool. We really believe that social enterprises is a tool or vehicle that can create social impact, can bring us to achieve the SDG goals, and in a more very sustainable way. And I believe that every one of you here have the same heart, have the same belief. And this event, what I personally appreciate the most is that we bring each other in the same room to really meet each other in person, not only just via email, Zoom call, a reading, but we really meet in person. And that is the most valuable thing we can do together. Once we know each other today, we can still keep connecting, keep our conversation together, because I believe that having only one or two organizations working on this, creating impact is not enough. We really need to come together. By saying coming together, this is one example, coming to the conference, connecting with each other, going to the SE trip, learn more from each other. I still talking about SE trip. Yeah. And this is not a very easy journey. So I would like to show my appreciation to all of you as well, because you are social entrepreneurs, you are intermediaries, you are moving the big rock, moving and creating impact. So very appreciate and very grateful to be in the same room with you all. So my final say is that we would love to work with you. In any way, please contact us. SE Thailand could be a doorway for all of you to contact the social enterprises in Thailand. If there is any collaboration that we can work together, please don't hesitate to contact us. And thank you very much again to ICEA. Good work on this event. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tarla. And yes, we're very excited for the field trip tomorrow. And if there's anything this pandemic taught us, is that we miss being around people. So again, thank you to Thailand for hosting, and thank you to everyone for being here. So the next person, I think, doesn't need any introduction.
Overexposed.
It's not that she's overexposed. It's she's the reason why we're all here. She's in the Philippines and I think around Asia and maybe the world, known as the mover and shaker of social enterprises. She's our guru and our stalwart in social enterprise in the Philippines and elsewhere. So everybody, as I said, she doesn't need any introduction. I'm just winging it at this moment, but Dr. Lisa Dakanay.
I'd like to stand because I've been sitting down. No, but I think no, dito na. No, I just like to start by saying that the reason why Gomer did not agree not to have me in this closing panel is because I'm not only representing ICEA, the Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, but also two other networks that are actually important in convening this conference. And one of them is Catalyst 2030. You've met Jeru and you've met, who else was here? Jonathan, of course. And before that, Jason this morning. We are all part of a global movement for social innovation and social entrepreneurship. And I also represent Catalyst 2030 in this closing panel. And I think working with Catalyst 2030 will be important in the years to come to become part of a global movement and not just to be part of the Asia Pacific regional movement, for social innovation. I'm also here representing the social and community enterprise constituency of the Asia Pacific Regional Civil Society Engagement Mechanism. Can you beat that? Ha. Okay, this is, yeah, but seriously, it's called APRSEM, no? And APRSEM is the civil society engagement mechanism recognized by UNESCAP and governments in the region on the SDGs. And we have the Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia has been the anchor organization for the past few years. And we will not always be the anchor organization. And I wanted to make a pitch about those of you who are wanting to play a more regional role, that maybe in the near future, you can be anchor organizations of the regional civil society engagement mechanism for the social and community enterprise constituency. That is an important constituency that we fought for. Why? Because among the 17 stakeholder groups in the UN, there's actually a group called SMEs. Yeah. And in the Asia Pacific region, through our engagement with the civil society engagement mechanism, we asserted that that should not be SME. It should be social and community enterprise. And that's the reason why there is now a stakeholder group called Social and Community Enterprise Constituency. And I wanted to invite all of you, actually, to register in that constituency. Why? Because that constituency is what is recognized officially as representing the social and community enterprise sector in Asia Pacific, as far as engaging the UNESCAP is concerned. And there's a way of registering that Gomer has been prodding you to do, I think, some of you to do, and which we hope you will do now, because I think coming to the UN Conference Center and having this conference here, we're starting to engage the UN more, right? And I think we will want to engage the UN more effectively, and we need to do that as a sector. Yeah? And as a sector, we need to register in that Asia Pacific Regional Civil Society Engagement Mechanism, Social and Community Enterprise Constituency. So the way to do it is to register in APRSEM, and then there is a constituency that you will tick, right, Gomer? Yeah. So please do if you haven't done so already, because soon there will again be elections for who will be the anchor organization, and we're hoping that the anchor organization will be part of our community. No, I think we here, are developing a common vision, a common perspective for inclusive recovery, building back fair, and accelerating the sustainable development goals. And it's important, I think, that the holder of the social and community enterprise constituency anchor organization remains with us in this broad network. No. So whether you're online or offline, whether you're on site or online, yeah. Today, we hope that you can register in the Asia Pacific Regional Civil Society Engagement Mechanism, Social and Community Enterprise Constituency. Having said all that, we really just want to say that we look forward to pursuing the 5 platforms. No, I'm not going to repeat them because I think you've been bombarded with the 5 platforms for the past 2 days. And also, we hope that Crescent, catalyzing the recovery of social and community enterprises for transformation, really becomes a facilitating factor for the platforms to grow and develop, and for us to actually bring more innovation, mainstreaming in our sector, so that we are better recognized and we are better equipped to engage the powers that be. Yeah. And I think engaging governments, as well as engaging the corporate sector and multilateral agencies, will remain an important part of the work we do. And I hope that as a sector in Asia Pacific, we can continue to do that in the years to come. So before I close, I fully close, I would like to recognize the secretariat team that actually was behind the scenes, in putting together this conference. Some of them are offsite, some of them are just online, but we have 4 wonderful people who are on site with us. And I'd like you to stand, please. Gomer, Padong. Kathy Chongson, where are you? She's still outside disbursing. Yeah, we also have Jonathan Ronquillo. We also have Bads Patanag. And of course, our team in the Philippines, no? They've been backing us up virtually. That's Chelsea, Dali, Mary, and Alice. Who else? I didn't forget anybody. So I didn't want to forget anybody because I think the reason why we've been able to do all this is because of the hard work as well of those who haven't been really speaking in front of you, except for Gomer has been speaking from behind. Yeah, but thank you very much for your hard work. I think a lot of what happened today happened because of the hard work that you put in engaging. Yan. And I think the biggest credit, of course, goes to all of you. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for making this first on-site blended conference, the Social Enterprise Advocacy and Leveraging Conference, a memorable and memorable and unforgettable experience for all of us. We learned a lot, I think, from each other. And we will continue to learn a lot and work. We will continue to work together in the years to come. So let's continue to the co-learning process, as has been pointed out, the co-creation process, the innovation process, and the scaling up and mainstreaming process for social entrepreneurship to be a pathway towards inclusive recovery, building back fairer, and accelerating the sustainable development goals. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Lisa, for that inspiring message. And I think we're all the more excited to go back to our countries and start working with a passion for social enterprises. Lisa thanked the ICEA Secretariat, but I also want to personally thank Lisa for bringing us all together. So let's give Lisa a big round of applause. We all know that she's our glue. And with that, 30 minutes early, we've officially declared the conference closed. Thank you, everybody.